Ambassador William Lacey Swing has devoted his life to advancing the cause of peace and stability to some of the most difficult and challenging places in the world. In Africa, where he has spent most of his career, Bill was involved in managing some of the most troubling and troublesome issues we have seen over the last 30 years. His service as ambassador to Liberia during the tumultuous period after the assassination of President Robert Tolbert and the rise of Sergeant Samuel Doe. His work in South Africa during the final days of apartheid. In Nigeria during a succession of military coups. And later in the Democratic Republic of the Congo as we witnessed the last days of Mobutu Sese Seko and the emergence of a horrendous conflict known as Africa's First World War, a term that Bill Swing coined in one of his many first-person cables. In addition to his 5 ambassadorships in Africa, Bill also spent 5 years as ambassador to Haiti from 1993 to 1998. During that time, a U.S.-led multinational force returned exiled Haitian President Aristide to office 3 years after a military coup had ousted him. In all of these assignments, Bill Swing demonstrated the traits that have made him famous: cool, unflappable, indefatigable, knowledgeable, analytically rigorous, and a skilled interlocutor willing to listen to all sides, but also prepared to take tough decisions. Outside of work, a younger Bill Swing was an avid tennis player and a strong supporter of morale-boosting activities for embassy personnel, a concern his wife Ewan shared with him. Bill, as many of you know who've traveled around Africa, is also something of a rock star. In South Africa, people used to echo the words of the famous and late Duke Ellington's jazz classic when they spoke of Bill Swing. They would all say, if you don't mean a thing, if it ain't got that swing. After one of his significant interventions with government officials in South Africa, the Johannesburg Sunday Times ran a political cartoon with those words underneath it. Everyone knew that it was Bill Swing that the cartoon was about. Music seems to have followed Bill around as well to the DRC. He was such a popular figure in the Democratic Republic of the Congo during his assignment as the Secretary General's Special Representative that a musical group produced a popular and much admired video known as Coco Swing, featuring a singer with white hair and a white mustache. You can find this video on YouTube today. It's worthy of seeing. Again, his popularity goes before him and remains long after he is left. Ambassador John Yates, who is with us today, well known to lots of Bill's friends who worked in Africa, speaks of Bill's energy and activism by describing his capacity to multitask, claiming that he cannot recall an instance where he was with Bill on a drive or sitting in a meeting where Bill was not doing something else simultaneously, preparing remarks, writing memos and thank you notes, or developing strategy for the next tough issue. Just the thought of this is tiring, but it speaks to the qualities that drove Bill during his 38 years in the Foreign Service. Bill has always been committed to excellence in everything that he does, and he has always expected no less from his colleagues. Bill would often say that the essence of leadership is the ability to motivate and inspire others to accomplish a common task. Ambassador Ed Perkins, who was Bill's deputy in Liberia, recalls Bill's unwavering commitment to high standards in getting the facts and reporting them accurately. Bill and Ed were a formidable team in Liberia and again later in the Director General's office. In their long friendship, Ed said one thing always stood out about Bill Swing: his commitment to excellence and his fairness towards people. Following his Foreign Service career, Bill moved to the United Nations, where he first served as the Special Representative for the Secretary General to the Western Sahara. Following that assignment, he took on problems in the DRC for a second time as the Secretary General's Special Representative in Kinshasa. In that capacity, Bill assumed responsibility for leading the largest UN peacekeeping mission in the world, in a country that had been torn asunder by 4 decades of poor political leadership and 10 years of civil war. Today, Bill serves the global community as the Director General of the International Organization for Migration, extending services to the global community, extending compassion to the billions of migrants internally displaced around the world. Seemingly, Bill's work is never done, and if the decision of the international community to give him a second term in that position is fulfilled, he will carry on. Bill's work is brought benefit and happiness to many around the world, and we are thankful for his tireless commitment and his extraordinary sense of duty and public service. Bill is a consummate diplomat, and he has inspired many of us by his hard work, his commitment to public service. He has been a wonderful colleague, an inspiration, and a great friend. It is my pleasure and sincere honor to invite Bill to come forward and accept the AFSA Award for lifetime contributions to American diplomacy.